In this video, I'm going to be reviewing a job site radio by Makita. I'm trying to do more tech reviews, tech unboxings, and things like that because, well, my name is My Tech News and I'm trying to do more stuff on the tech side besides the gaming side. But the crazy part was, about a month ago, I was going yard selling and I came across this yard sale, and this guy said he just had a birthday, and I saw a job site radio, and literally he was just trying to get rid of this thing. He wanted exactly $10, and I was looking up online the retail suggested price for this job site radio, and the crazy part is this job site radio goes for retail about $99. I'm not sure if they still make this job site radio today, but they do sell this job site radio for $99. The name of the radio and the model of it will be in the title of this video. Can't remember the name of it, and unfortunately I don't have the box to show you guys well because it's been about a month. I probably already threw the box away, but I wanted to show you my full review of this Makita job site radio. Without further ado, let's start the video. So here is what the Makita job site radio actually looks like. The model number of this is the BMR100. I know for a fact Makita actually makes another model above this. I don't know too many of the differences, but I do know one difference the other model has that this model does not have. This is the older Makita job site radio. The other one, don't know the model number, but it has Bluetooth in it, which this one does not have Bluetooth. So if you wanted to pair it to a Bluetooth device such as your cell phone, your smartphone, your laptop, etc., you can do that on the new model, which this one does not have. Here is the actual Makita job site radio, and of course this is for the job site. That's why it's called a job site radio. So it has bars on the side just in case you were to drop this thing on the ground during a construction site or doing whatever you're doing out in the field. You wouldn't end up damaging the display on this and damaging the control panel on here. Here is all the controls. Of course, all the controls are going to be on the front of this device. Besides the bars on here, most of this thing is made out of a rubber material. If I go ahead and pan the camera up, you can see that everything is made out of a rubbery material. I did get this Makita radio new, but unfortunately I've been having this out for a while, and you can see it does collect dust very easily, but at least it is covered in a rubber material. And then the rest of it is a plasticky material, so it is rubber. A lot of it's rubber, of course, to protect it, and then it's plastic, and then it does have the bars on the side to protect it. And this Makita job site radio is stereo sound. If I go ahead and turn it on the side, you can see it does have Makita branding, and it does have a speaker there. And if I flip it on the other side, it does also have another speaker right there. So this is a stereo sounding Makita radio. And then going back to the front, you also may be wondering, how do you actually end up powering the Makita job site radio? Well, there's actually two ways to power this Makita job site radio. The first way being is you can actually use the included AC adapter included in the box, and I do have it here. It does come with the radio, and here's what it looks like right here. It just plugs into the wall. You can pause the video if you actually want to read everything on the back of this AC adapter, and then going right here, there it is right there. It just plugs into the wall right there. And then over here, here's the actual plug. If you're curious of what it actually looks like, here's the plug that plugs into the Makita job site radio right there. And then the other way to actually power this job site radio is you can actually power it with a Makita battery. So if you have a rechargeable Makita battery, you can actually power this thing. Now, I don't know what Makita rechargeable batteries this thing takes because I don't have any Makita power tools, but if you do have Makita power tools, then this is going to be an absolutely good Makita job site radio because you'll probably already have all the rechargeable batteries for this thing. I think it can use different Makita batteries, not just one. So if you have different power tools, you can actually use different Makita rechargeable batteries. So go ahead and just look that up online. I'm sure if you Google the Makita job site radio BMR100, you should get some specs, and it should tell you what kind of batteries this thing can use right here. And then also there is an actual internal battery inside of it. This thing does open up, and I'm going to show you in just a second. This thing opened up, but this thing does open up, and you can actually put in AA batteries. What are the AA batteries used for? Well, The AA batteries are actually used to power on the clock. Now granted, I don't know if you actually need those batteries to actually power the clock. You may be able to power the clock if you actually have this thing plugged into the wall. I don't know if you can see the display. I'm going to try to zoom in, but on the display it does have a clock on it. It doesn't say the date or anything, but it does have a time on it. It says it's 2:59 and it doesn't. Oh yeah, it does say PM or AM, so it is 2:59 PM as you can see on that. It's kind of hard to see through the video, and in real life it's a little bit hard to see, but it's not unreadable or anything like that, but it is on the display on the front, and that is powered by the two AA batteries in the back. Now I'm going to show you where the actual rechargeable battery goes and where the two AA battery goes if you are curious right here. And this job site radio does actually have 3 inputs. It has the one for the AC adapter that's included in the box, and then of course also it does have 2 other ports. I'm going to show you what the 2 other ports are. Flipping it to the back, if I go ahead and go up, there's actually a little lever right here you have to detach, and it'll open up the job site radio right there. And then of course did forget to mention, but it does actually have a handle on it, and I want to say this thing runs about 10 pounds, so it's not the heaviest thing in the world, but you'll definitely notice it when you're carrying it. But it's probably due to all of the rubber and all the 2 metal bars on the front and the stereo speakers and everything like that. That's what makes this thing hefty, but it's definitely a portable radio. And it does also have a antenna right there, as you can see right here on video. It does have an antenna. The antenna does come in a box as well, and it is a detachable antenna. Now this thing, like I said, is a Makita radio, so it'll only do AM and FM radio. It does not do shortwave radio or anything like that. It only does AM and FM radio. And then here is what the antenna looks like right here on camera. It is a rubber antenna right here, and the tip of it is like a greenish color right there. And here is the tip right here that plugs in. If you're wondering what does a screw-on look like, here's what the actual screw-on looks like. I'm not sure if you can actually operate this radio without the antenna, because I've never tried it before. Maybe you can and maybe you can't, but usually I just have the antenna, I just leave the antenna screwed on so I can get the best reception possible right there. Okay, now I'm actually going to go ahead and open this up to show you what it actually looks like when I open this thing up. So here is the actual inside of the job site radio. So here is where the actual battery would clamp on. The actual battery would clamp on right here if you do have a Makita rechargeable battery. That's where the battery would actually hold. And then right here you can see there is a port right here. What is that port used for? That little green hole? Well, that little green hole is for a 3.5 millimeter audio source, and it has 2 ports on it. So it does have one in the front and it has one in the actual back. And so if you plug in like your cell phone, your smartphone, or a tablet or a laptop or an MP3 player, basically anything that has 3.5, then you can actually listen to audio from it. So it has to have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on it, and unfortunately it does not have a 3.5 to 3.5 millimeter headphone cable included in the box. You will have to buy one separately, unfortunately, but I do know for a factor if you're trying to buy a cord from 3.5 to 3.5, they are not very expensive at all. You can literally get them probably safely under $10 if you're looking to get one. What I usually like doing with this job site radio, I usually like having a 3.5 to 3.5 millimeter headphone cable laying inside of this, and when I close this thing up, I'll usually have one, so when I'm taking this thing around, I'll always have a cord with me no matter where I'm at, so I won't have to worry about, do I have one, where's it at, am I going to lose it, and things like that. And then if you look down below, here is where you actually want to install the 2 AA batteries right here inside. I'm going to go ahead and open that, and as you can see, there are 2 AA batteries. Actually, I think when you actually get this radio, I think you do get 2 AA batteries included in the box. I could be wrong about that, but I think you do, as far as I remember. At least I think mine came with 2 AA batteries. I want to make this clear as well. I'm not sure if you can actually run this thing or run the clock without AA batteries. I'm not sure about that. They may be mandatory and they may be not. Of course, the actual radio itself will still work if you don't have the 2 AA batteries installed, but I don't know if the clock can be powered once you actually plug in the wall. But of course, once you unplug the AC cord and you're taking this on the go, of course you will lose the clock. So I mean, why not just have the AA batteries on here? And I'm assuming that this thing will last pretty much forever on the AA batteries powering the clock, so you shouldn't have any problems. You basically pop in 2 AA batteries and you should be good to go for months and months and months and months, and the clock shouldn't be having any problems. It's been about a month and like a couple weeks now, and the battery's still going very strong on the AA batteries, just the power of the little clock. But there it is right there. Gonna go ahead and close this up, close up the Makita radio. And I think the reason they actually put going back to the 3.5 millimeter source, I think the reason they actually put the source inside is because if you're using your cell phone, or if you're using like an MP3 player, you can pop it in here, close it up, and you can still get sound. Especially if you're in like a course, a work site, it's going to be dusty, it's going to have a lot of debris and things like that, and you don't want to get your smartphone or your MP3 player or whatever actually damaged. So I think that's why they put one audio 3.5 millimeter audio source right there, just so you can actually store the device in here and close it up, and it should be good to go, and you shouldn't have to worry about any damage to your device. Now moving back to the actual front of the radio. Here's where all the controls of the radio are. And I'm going to go ahead and go over all the controls of the radio right here. So you can see, of course, it does have a display. The display is pretty good size for what you're doing, and the numbers and the stuff on the display actually come up pretty big, so you won't have any problem actually reading the display when you're actually using this radio. And then you do have a power button, and the power button doubles as turning it off and on, and it also actually activates the sleep timer. This does have a sleep timer, so if you hold in the button while it's on, it will activate a sleep timer. And I think the longest the sleep timer works is up to 120 minutes at the maximum, so you will get about, I think 120 minutes is equivalent to about 2 hours, so there you go right there. And then you do have a band switcher. You can switch from AM to FM. It does not have shortwave. I want to make that very clear again. It's only AM and FM. And then you also have these bars right here. You can actually set timers and things like that. I don't really use timers, but if you want to use timers, you have options for timers, and I think you also have like an alarm as well, so there you go right there. And then going down below the actual display right there, down below it, you do got these 5 keys right here. What are these 5 keys for? Well, these 5 keys down below it are for presets, and the presets actually allow you to save your favorite bands, so you don't have to go through looking through the bands. If you want to find your favorite stations, you can easily basically save your favorite stations in these 5 presets, and you'll have them locked and loaded whenever you want to go to a different station that's your favorite. You just press that button and it'll switch it. Of course, you do have to program it to your favorite stations, but it's very easy to program this thing, and you can save them into memory. It only has 5 presets, but 5 presets should honestly be enough. And then going down below it, that button actually allows you to change the actual clock. So that's how you would, that's how you would actually change the clock. But also that button does double right here. That button also doubles as a scan button. So it'll scan to the next available loudest signal it finds. So you can just basically keep scanning through the bands if you don't want to actually turn the dial and look through different bands. If you just want it to scan up the band, and then when it finds the most loudest available signal next, it'll stop on that band and you can listen to it. And then of course this knob will allow you to do 2 things. This knob right here will allow you to change the band you're on, so you can skip through the dial, and it'll also allow you to actually change the audio of the thing. So it doubles as changing bands, and it actually allows you to change the volume of the radio. Now how you actually do that is how it doubles is, what you want to do is, if you're changing the bands right here, you just click on this. Don't know if you can hear it on camera, but this thing is clickable. Once you click it, it'll change from changing the sound to changing the bands. That's how you do that right there. And then below it, you do have 2 ports right there. In total, you have 3 ports on this. So this one right here is going to be another audio in. So you have an audio in right there, 3.5. And then on this side, you do have a the AC adapter with the 12-volt adapter I just showed you before goes right there. I don't know why they made the AC adapter go into the front. That kind of puzzles me. I really don't know why, but I'm not really into job site radio, so I can't tell you why. Maybe there's actually a reasoning for it, but I would prefer if Makita actually put the actual plug in the back so it wouldn't get in your way, and it would make the radio look a little bit more cleaner in operation, in my opinion. So now I'm actually going to plug this thing into the wall and show you how this thing actually operates. I'm actually going to go ahead and scan up the band. Let me go ahead and readjust the camera. Now, as you can see on, maybe you can see this on YouTube and maybe you can't see this on YouTube, but you may see in this video that it is kind of hard to actually see the display, but in real life, it's really not hard to see the display. It looks like a very nice display. There is a backlight to this display, and you can see the backlight to this display is going to be more of a kind of a dark blue color. I don't know how it's portraying on YouTube, but in real life, it doesn't look that bad at all. It actually looks very good. Actually, on my camera right now, it kind of looks washed out, or it kind of looks like it has actual water damage, but in real life, trust me, this thing does not have water damage. It's not washed out. It looks fine, but I don't know how this is going to portray on YouTube, so just take it as it is, but I just want to let you know it looks fine in real life. Let me go ahead and scan up the band again. Basically, I'm just scanning up the band to see if I can find any signals in the AM band. I can't actually show you any audio from this because I don't want copyright infringement. It looks like it picked up the same band, which is kind of funny. Actually, you know what I am going to do, since I can't play anything on the radio? I can... And of course, it's not going to be blurred like that. It's because wherever the station is, it's far away from me. And granted, I am on the AM band. But what I want to do is try to find my cell phone, or and try to actually see if I can actually get some audio actually playing from this thing, from an audio source. Actually, I'm just going to scan down the band. Okay, here's one.
You know, not every college coach is welcome.
I was going to show you my cell phone and show you some audio playing from it, but the problem is I don't know where the 3.5 millimeter cable is, and I don't know where my cell phone is at the moment. I know it's somewhere around here. I think it might be in a different location, so I'm just going to show you some stuff on the radio.
What? Never. I mean, they've always been very clear.
And from my experience, I actually like the sound coming out of this thing. I think it's a very good sounding radio, and it does have a pretty good bass response to it as well. Overall, I think if you're using this in the field, I think you're going to be able to listen to this. This thing gets very loud, and of course you're going to need it very loud, especially since the sole purpose of this radio is to actually be able to listen to this in the field, so it's going to need to be as loud as possible.
So they were happy about that, so I guess I'm going up for the game in the morning, so I guess I will be...
So you can see this thing gets very, very loud. I can't find anything on the band, which is funny. That's not music. Man, am I getting a lot of static. Actually, I think I'm going to switch to the FM band. Let me see if I can find something that's not copyrighted real quick, so you can actually hear some more sound coming out of this. Okay, here's something.
Versus the amount of the business that now, now that you lay out separating that amount individually, that's really helpful.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Dwayne, let us send you a copy of Howard Dayton's book, Business God's Way. It addresses.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it addresses lots of information, but it also addresses this aspect of debt, and I think you'll find it helpful.
Thank you.
Away. What happened to them as a child, as a teenager? The experts, as I read, found out, they tell us that they carry that stigma with them on into their adulthood. Now listen to this. Every year in America, there are 3 million reports.
So yeah, I turned off the radio right there, but overall, I pretty much do like this Makita job site radio. I think it's a very good radio. Of course, granted, I was only able to pick this up for $10, so I got a steal when it comes to after this radio, because I know this radio retails for $99. I don't know if you can still buy this radio brand new, and I also know for a fact that they do make a newer model of this radio, which has Bluetooth built in. Overall, I'm very satisfied with my Makita job site radio. Again, the model is BMR100. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video.